What if I told you that Australia is wider than the moon? Not heavier, not brighter, wider. Sounds impossible, right? After all, the moon looks massive in the sky. Australia is just a country on a map. But today, we're going to break your intuition, your map-based instincts, and maybe your trust in your own eyes. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Australia is wider than the moon, why it feels wrong, and why your brain has been lying to you your whole life. Why this fact sounds fake. When we look up at the night sky, the moon feels enormous. It dominates the darkness. It looks bigger than anything we know on Earth. Meanwhile, Australia feels small. You've probably seen it on a world map dozens of times. It looks smaller than Africa, smaller than Asia, and definitely smaller than something floating in space. So how could Australia, just one country, be wider than the moon itself? The answer lies in numbers, distance, and visual illusions. Defining wider. Before we compare anything, we need to be clear about one thing. What does wider actually mean? In this video, wider means the longest horizontal distance from east to west. Not area, not volume, not weight. Just a straight line measurement across. So let's measure both objects the same way, fairly and accurately. Australia stretches from the Indian Ocean in the west to the Pacific Ocean in the east. If you measure Australia from its westernmost point to its easternmost point, you get a distance of roughly 4,000 kilometers. That's longer than the width of Europe, the distance from New York to Los Angeles, and nearly the same as crossing the entire United States. Australia is far wider than most people realize. The moon's diameter, meaning the distance across its center, is about 3,474 kilometers. That's the full width of the moon from one side to the other. When you compare the numbers, Australia, about 4,000 kilometers. Moon, about 3,474 kilometers. Australia is wider by more than 500 kilometers. No trick, no exaggeration, just math. Here's where it gets really wild. If you place the moon directly over Australia, centered it perfectly, the moon would not cover the entire country. Parts of Western Australia and Eastern Australia would still stick out. That means Australia is not just slightly wider, it's noticeably wider. Most people don't believe this until they see a visual comparison. And once they do, their brain short circuits. So why does the moon look so much bigger than Australia? Simple answer, distance. The moon is about 384,000 kilometers away. That's close in cosmic terms. Because it's close, it appears large in the sky, especially when it's near the horizon. This is called the moon illusion. Your brain compares the moon to trees, buildings, and mountains, and mistakenly thinks it's larger than it really is. Your eyes aren't lying, your brain is. Maps also play a big role in confusing us. Most world maps use projections that distort size. They shrink some regions and stretch others. Australia often appears smaller than it really is. Africa, for example, is massively underestimated on most maps. Flat maps cannot accurately represent a round planet, so your sense of scale gets warped. Australia isn't small, it's just misrepresented. So yes, it's true. Australia is wider than the moon, not because the moon is small, but because Australia is huge, and your intuition was trained on distorted images. Next time someone says, "That sounds fake," you'll know the truth. And if this fact surprised you, there are many more that will completely rewrite how you see the world.